For choosing us. We're a home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Now we start from Parliament because the minority in Parliament have announced a boycott of the vetting of the Deputy Minister Designate for Trade and Industry, Kofi Mafo. Now the Achase MP was nominated to replace Dr. Stephen Amwa, who was reshuffled to the Finance Ministry. The NDC group says the government is already bloated and will not support this approval. Let's take you live to Parliament for more on this. Kweku Asante joins me with more. Kweku, what more reasons have the minority outlined for this boycott?
Well, Faustina, we know that the minority have always spoken about the size of government. In their opinion, they have said that the government is over-bloated, for which reason they've opposed certain ministerial nominees in the past. In fact, today, it is part of the reason they've given. They say that this government is bloated. The current economy does not allow for the government to pile on deputy ministerial nominees, for which reason they've said that Flying Farmer will not get their support. And not only is he not going to get their support, they've also boycotted proceedings. The vetting is currently underway in the committee room, and I've just left there to come for this Zoom meeting. And it's only NDP MP, majority MPs, who are there undertaking the vetting. In fact, it's gone on for a little close to under an hour now. We expect that it will be ending very soon because at the time I left, the chairman of the committee was the one asking the question. So yes, the minority have boycotted proceedings today in terms of that vetting, insisting that because of the current economic climate, they do not believe that the president should be given room to appoint any more ministers, for which reason today they are not at the appointment committee.
How will the absence of the minority affect the vetting process?
Ordinarily, it will not do much because the majority MPs, being majority in Parliament, do have majority members on that committee. So when it comes down to a vote, they will get the quorum first to start off proceedings, which they have, and then they will be able to present a report. Obviously, we expect that when the report comes to the plenary in the next few days, they will indicate that the majority, or the minority, I should say, boycotted proceedings for reason A, for reason B, or for whatever reason that the minority have adduced. We understand that that has been communicated to the chairman of the committee. The minority have said, for the reasons I've given you, particularly relating to the economy, and they see that is why they are not going to be part. So substantively, it won't affect the vetting. The vetting is almost concluded, and also they will be able to put this man on the floor for a vote. We expect that when it comes down here in the chamber for a vote, the minority again will vote against him. But if the majority are able to bring on 138 of their NDP colleagues, Kofi Mafo will go on to become the Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry.
What else is Parliament considering today, Kweku?
Well, Parliament has a number of questions on the other part. We told you last week or two that because of the trial of the minority leader, whenever it's Tuesday and Thursday, the NDC MPs boycott proceedings up until the minority leader returns from court. Today is a similar story. It is past 12, but if you look at the chamber, it's empty. There's no one here because the minority MPs are currently in court. And until they return, proceedings will not start. We understand proceedings may start around 3 p.m. today because of this boycott. That has been the agreement that both sides have reached over the last few weeks when the majority leader himself announced this on the floor. So there's a number of business that the House has to deal with. We expect that KTM will probably attempt to lead this controversial airline to regulate cement prices. There's also the report on the ad hoc committee set up to investigate the leak tape. All that may come up to the floor, but all this will be after 3 p.m. Christina.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to that at 3 p.m. when Elton Broby comes your way with the polls. Now let's do some more stories. Speaker of Parliament Alban Babin has insisted on the need to scrap provision for Article 71 office holders for the failure to guard against corruption. According to him, the provision was to ensure members of Parliament serve the interests of the electorate without pressing concerns about their exit from the House. But the Speaker says the National Emoluments Commission should be made to determine severance packages for members. There's more in this report by Nanaya Aljiba.
The forum, attended by the Speaker and other members of Parliament, was themed 30 Years of Parliamentary Democracy under the Fourth Republic, the journey thus far. Alban Babin says his stance against payment of ex-gratia to parliamentarians led to disaffection from colleague MPs.
It has not been able to assist us to curb or contain corruption. And so when I made an attempt to contest as a presidential candidate, I did announce that if elected as president, I was going to ensure that that article is amended from the Constitution. I got a reaction And the reaction was for my colleagues in Parliament to say that we don't support the candidature of Honorable Bagui. And when I got in touch with them in privacy, some disclosed that you have already announced that you are going to abolish ex gratia. So why should we vote for you? You have been enjoying it for all these years. Now it's our turn. You say we should enjoy it. But I can assure you that what a candidate spends to be elected is more than what you call ex gratia.
In his opinion, the intent of the constitutional provisions has failed, though the Speaker admits many MPs have lived in poverty after their tenure in office. He is prepared to support any move to scrap the provision.
But reality is that, look at the former members of Parliament. How many of them are rich? Don't look at the trappings of the office. I am the only lucky person to be there for up to 32 years. Many have fallen after just 4 years. And when you fall from there, it's very difficult to survive, because you are seen as a politician. Nobody will employ you. When you are doing your business, only your party members will come to you. And when your party members come to you, they are looking for it for free. They don't want to pay. And so it has really wreaked havoc on families of members of Parliament. So I agree totally with anybody who comes to say that we should do away with Article 71 of the Constitution. It hasn't served its purpose, and there's no use maintaining it. We have to look at the National Emoluments Commission for everybody.
Meanwhile, the Speaker says his inability to set up a committee to probe the January 6, 2020 disturbances in Parliament is due to his interest in the matter. He wants a member of the public to take up the matter in search of justice.
It's still a crime if you still deem it so. You are still entitled to report. We will still allow investigation to be conducted. But please take me out of this. I don't want to be self-serving. That because there was a struggle to elect me, I preside over a committee and then pass judgment over it. No. I don't think it accords to my conscience. And I'm not prepared to do that. Personally, I don't think it's right.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign team has been justifying the choice of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh as running mate. Well, we know that the National Council of the governing New Patriotic Party will on Thursday, 4th of July, decide the fate of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh as running mate of the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, this follows the completion of the necessary consultation by Dr. Bawumia's team, which saw the acceptance of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh by the President Akufo-Addo. Well, Director of Communications for Dr. Bawumia team, Dennis Miracles Apwaji, spoke earlier on Newsdesk.
He's always known who his running mate was going to be, even before the presidential primaries. Because before he set himself out to run for this contest, he needed to prepare and plot, run a SWOT, make sure that where he has weaknesses and where he has shortfalls, he knows who will complement him. And so over the period, since November 5th, when he became the flag bearer, he has been engaging almost everybody in the room that's going to be there on Thursday for National Council. And he solicited for their views. And he engaged and consulted widely before he settled and said, I think this decision is the best for us as a party. So you can be rest assured that on Thursday, almost everybody in that room for the National Council meeting has already engaged or interfaced with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the choice of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, and those hurdles have been cleared.
Let's look at the plan. You head the communications team. So should he be approved as the running mate, how do you plan to disabuse the minds of Ghanaians that he comes across as a rude person?
There is always a fine line between being assertive and confident and being described as arrogant and rude. Is that the case? There's a fine line. I mean, we've had several politicians who have been described in similar manner. Let the Ghanaian people begin to interface and engage him. You don't tell people who you are. You let people feel and experience who you are. The majority of the Ghanaians are they've only heard or seen him from afar, he's going to engage them. He's going to speak to them. He's going to visit them in their homes. He's going to visit them in their shops. He's going to visit them in their churches and their place of needs. After that engagement, you make your own assertion. At the moment, a lot of your assertions are based on the headlines, are based on the comment by opposition parties. Wait and meet the person. And that's what a lot of Ghanaians believe in. Ghanaians believe that you don't come and tell me who somebody is. Let me experience the person and make my own judgment. He is not going to be adored. Let him be adored. Let him now subject himself to the people of Ghana and engage them. And let the people of Ghana form their own opinion. At the moment, I don't think they've formed the opinion yet. These are views of few individuals who may or may not like the person. But there are over 30 million Ghanaians who need a leader. Allow them to make their own choices and make their own opinion formations.
Well, if you're a member of the Civil and Local Staff Government Association of Ghana, you have been directed to stay away from work indefinitely. Your mother union has given this directive due to government's failure to implement the new salary structure for you, which was agreed upon 2 years ago. Now, this action is part of a strategy to pile pressure on government to provide better working conditions and benefits for all CLOGSAC members. Let's go live on the grounds now and speak to my colleague Samuel Mbura, who is at a meeting for more details. Mbura, thank you for your time here on Joy News today. First off, what is this new salary structure they're pushing for? Mbura, you have to position rightly for me so that I could hear you clearly. I'm asking, what is this new salary structure all about?
So we are live from the CLOGSAC office here at the ministry. In 2022, as of January 2022, there was a memorandum of understanding on the payments of neutrality allowance and the new salary structure. That was agreed upon by the Office of the President, represented by Mr. Yao Osafo-Marco, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. They had Labour Commission and the Ministry of Finance, and on the other hand, CLOGSAC as well. So this was actually part of the service, the condition of service that they were demanding. So the neutrality allowance has been paid, but government has reneged, according to CLOGSAC, in paying or implementing the new salary structure. And upon several engagements, government is not showing any positive indication that it will implement the new salary structure. And that is what is influencing the CLOGSAC to go ahead to communicate or direct all its members across the country to embark on an indefinite strike beginning tomorrow. So if you go to all the ministries where they have CLOGSAC members, they have the red flag pointed around, indicating that they are on strike and hence will not work until government responds to their predicament. So for now, they have the information van moving from one to the other, announce to members, and also communicate on the staff all members across the country to effectively lay down to mount pressure on government and pay their new salary.
Now, we know the intention of CLOGSAC is quite clear, but have they communicated this decision to the National Labour Commission?
Exactly. In a letter that I have in my possession on the 21st of June 2024, CLOGSAC actually wrote to the National Labour Commission declaring its intention to the institution about what is described as an unfair treatment by government. So for now, the National Labour Commission is aware of this action, the letter that I have from CLOGSAC.
Let's talk about the raging controversy over the sale of Senate hotels to Agric Minister Brian Champong's Rock City Hotel. What's the latest from this? Because we know they are holding a press conference as we speak.
So they are currently in a crucial meeting where they are deliberating to come out with their final decision on it. We know that there have been engagements with the presidency, with the Smith board, and all those who matter on it. We also do know that even the Smith board has directed that Smith suspend this particular deal once they look into the matter. But the issue appears to not be the situation on the ground. The information they are taking is that they are still bent on selling the state assets to the Agric Minister Brian Champong. So we are waiting for
not be the situation on the ground. The information they are picking is that they are still bent on selling the state assets to the Agric Minister Brian Champong. So we are waiting for that particular update there, but they are still on their, their posture that they are not going to allow the sale of this, the hotels belonging to the pensioners. They think that it is a rip-off, and this meeting will definitely give us the details after the several meetings that they held with the stakeholders, board of SNIT, and also the presidency. So we are waiting keenly for Mr. Isaac Bampo and his team from CLOSAC and other labor union members to come and give us updates from this indoor meeting that is currently underway.
Thank you, Samuel Imbua. We'll be monitoring the situation closely and come to you as at when you have updates. Now, in a bid to promote sanitation and cleanliness, the Ghana Traditional Council, in collaboration with local authorities, began the Homework cleanup exercise today. We know that residents, including men, women, children, took to the streets to sweep clear drains and collect waste. While the exercise recorded an impressive turnout, concerns have been raised about the sustainability. Organizers of the Homework cleanup exercise expressed satisfaction with the turnout, but they are concerned about the accumulated waste in homes, highlighting the need for frequent cleanup drives. Ernest Morgan Aqua is PRO of Zoomline.
To continue and to sustain what we come to do, because we cannot tackle the things in a day. So I've instructed the mayor that every month, once in a month, they should charge the assembly members and to continue what we're doing. The residents have been cooperative enough. Early in the morning, they were a bit evasive, but gradually with time, they got themselves involved and we have come as far. So I think that we have a long way to go. Sanitation is killing us. The fields in Accra, they just forget it. And I've appealed to the residents that so long as they live in the fields, the sickness is coming. They should not politicize the sanitation to drive that quickly. I was a part of Wednesday, and I met a great Accra members in front of both sides. I was so serious. Out of the we are able to do that.
That's rather Titus Glover. Let's get more on the modus operandi of the Homo Festival, and Director of Public Health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Florence Kukui, joins us now with more on the phone. Florence, thank you for your time here on Joy News today. Now today, impressive turnout, but how sustainable is this?
Thanks, Madam. And thank you for having me. No, there's always a step to everything. Today, from our cleanup, it is a one-month project that we have put in front of us to see how sustainable it will be. The first part is taking place within the Accra metropolis. And then the second phase also takes place within the outskirts of the Accra enclave. And as for the sustainability, I can assure you that it's going to be sustainable.
Now, today there were concerns about the amount of rubbish heaped up at people's homes. Is that part of your next agenda, to do door-to-door assessment, or for lack of better expression, to help these people ensure they dispose their waste?
Yes, so as I said, sanitation is a holistic approach. It is not a one-person's business. The government has the part to play. The citizenry also has their part to play. People in their house always sort of try and roll with waste collection companies. They also prefer to keep resting in their homes. For instance, when there is a central cleanup, even people that bring waste from their houses can pick up for about 30% the general cleanup exercise you are doing. And it is an illegal act to produce waste in your house and that's safe for it to dispose of. It is an illegal act, or it is a criminal offense to produce waste in your house and it is a criminal offense not to have a standard dustbin in your house that will replace that you have generated. For Ghana, the polluter pays them. It is the duty of the polluter to cater for the waste that COT has produced until the affected waste collection takes to the final disposal site.
Thank you so much for your time here on Joy News Today, Florence Kuchi. Now, let's move on to other stories. Now, residents and traders who live and work along the drains leading to the Korle Lagoon are asking for the immediate dredging of the drains to avert any flood-related disaster, described as the principal outlet through which all major drains in the national capital empty their waste into the sea. Volumes of waste intermixed with ceaseless liquid produces awful stench as well as an overflow whenever it rains. That's the situation, and Hannah Odami has been throwing the spotlight on this in this report.
The waters flow from the Brie area through many communities such as Aveno, Circle and Graphic Road downstream into the Korle Lagoon. Along its pathway are mostly sand and filth. These elements hinder the smooth flow of the waters. The country is ranked highly among African countries that are most exposed to risks from multiple weather-related hazards. Those who live near these areas and constantly bear the brunt of the flood's impact are asking for big rubbish bins while they constantly look out for dredging equipment. Grace Gavo and Nana Kwame live and work at Aveno.
Oh, it's not there 18 years to 19 years. Oh, so third year. I
have lived in this area for the past 18 years. I have lost count of my property that has been swept away whenever it rains because the floods render us homeless. My wish is to relocate, but I can't pay the rent in other parts of the city which do not get flooded. We plead with government to constantly dredge the lagoon so that it does not overflow when it rains.
By last 3-4 years in by 2024
when the rain falls continuously, the water overflows its banks, and the force is strong enough to wash vehicles away. When it happens like that, we have to run for our lives. And with the onset of the rains, I plead with authorities to quickly act, or we will not hear good news.
At the Odo market, traders are quick to remind us of the awful memories they have of the June 3rd fire and flood disaster that led to the loss of about 150 lives.
When I am out of the house and it rains, I get very scared. I wish the wall would be extended upwards a bit. I believe that will help us a lot.
To curb similar related events and to build resilience against perennial flooding in Accra, $675 million is needed that will enhance flood protection regime along the Odo Basin and also re-engineer drains, remove obstructive materials, and implement a performance-based dredging program, according to the stakeholders. But that money is not available. Aisha and some others who spoke to Joy News say they've been hoping for the drains to be dredged so that their property, which are always washed away whenever the area floods, won't cease. This corn mill operator shares his experience during every raining season.
We have to dismantle our corn mill machine and equipment whenever it rains heavily. We fear for our lives because when it floods, live electrical cables falls into the stagnant waters, which electrocutes people when they get into contact with the water. Sometimes people even die as a result. We are compelled to climb up the stalls and stay there until the water dries up. We plead with authorities to raise the walls surrounding the Odo.
And as we were filming, the rains set in, traders briskly begin to pack their wares to safety. They are not happy about the situation and have one common plea.
Last 3 months, a meeting.
3 months ago, the authorities held a meeting with us, and they told us they will dredge the drains. I hope that they will fulfill their promise.
However, likely get an immediate response, as the Works and Housing Minister Kojo Nkrumah acknowledged on the Pulse on the Joy News channel in April this year that his office is behind schedule on flood control program.
I have inherited a flood control program that is behind schedule. As I've told you, even what we are doing is just about 2% of what we should be doing in the Greater Accra region.
The last time we checked, the amount of money involved runs into billions of cedis.
It's $200 million. So yes, if you do the conversion, it will run into billions. It's a $200 million project funded by the World Bank. That's a Garrett project. But what has actually been released or spent is not up to $200 million.
On the flip side, though, are some assurances from the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Titus Glover. He says a plan exists to desilt all gutters.
The assemblies, that is your responsibility. All the drains around, we need to desilt it and make sure any little downpour, the water will just flow.
As to when the promise will be fulfilled or the flooding situation permanently addressed, those affected by the negative impact of the rain continue to find alternatives to stay alive and to secure their property whenever the clouds gather.
You see, it just started drizzling, and we are packing off our stuffs. We get scared whenever it is about to rain. We can't watch on for the rain to wash us away. Authorities do not care because they have safe places to live with their families.
They
are supposed to dredge and clear the odor for free flow of the water.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Badami.
Let's take you now to Kumasi. The Parliamentary International Airport has commenced operation for domestic flights starting today and yesterday, 1st of July, while passengers traveling through the revamped facility have expressed satisfaction, citing swift procedures that considerably reduce wait times compared to the previous terminal. Well, despite the encouraging start, management clarified that no international flights have been slated to operate from the premises yet. There's more in this report by Nana Boachiado.
So on May 10th, President Akufo-Addo, assisted by the Asante Otumfuo II, commissioned the Parliamentary International Airport. Well, effective today, July 1st, the airport is operationalized for domestic flights or domestic use. And so there are 2 domestic flights currently operating here at the Parliamentary International Airport. And so this is the departure hall of the Parliamentary International Airport. And this is how the place looks like. The departure hall has passengers seated on my right and a number of them also seated on my left. You can see behind me is for check-ins, and then that is where we have the Africa World Airlines also passing. And so this is the departure hall of the Parliamentary International Airport. Up there is where we have the arrival and then boarding alongside screening for passengers.
This is a good experience, especially unlike the past where you have to go land in Kotaka before you make further arrangement for your flight outside the country. Now it's easy, right from Kumasi, you go wherever you want to go. And in fact, it's just about 6 months down the line when you compare the operations to what we're seeing now, even the ambience we have here, the services the flight attendants and these airline operators are given, it's superb. It's great to have this in Kumasi. Now you need not to, if you don't have a house or a place to live in Accra, straight from Kumasi you go wherever you're going. unlike the past, you have to have some hotel arrangements, or people who would either to have to resort to friends and other people before they can secure their luggages. You know, when you're traveling, anything can happen at the port.
It's much more, nicer than before. It looks much more luxurious. You look at the infrastructure, the aesthetics, it's pleasing. It's really pleasing. So I think it's commendable. They should keep up the good work, and more people are going to use it as time goes on. Yeah, it felt surreal. Like, oh, this is the dead Kumasi Airport. Oh, this is really beautiful. It felt really welcoming. Yeah.
During a tour inside the new terminal, the managing director of the Ghana Airport Company, Yvonne Nana Efriye Opare, indicated that measures are being put in place for international airlines to kickstart operations.
Airlines no kasa sisi enti
let's give ourselves some time. We are in talks with international airlines. We are negotiating with them, and very soon we will announce a date. At this point, let's take good care of the facility. This is for us to protect. We have customer service here to assist passengers.
Customer service personnel
So as it is open for domestic flights today and subsequently for international flights, about 800,000 passengers are expected to use the facility annually. Kumasi Airport. From the Parliamentary International Airport, my name is Nana Boachidankwa.
Hello, welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Professor of Finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Joshua Abo, is asking government to focus on investing in the extractive sector to push for economic stability. He said multilateral development banks can also collaborate with national development banks to complement government's efforts to ensuring development across all sectors of the economy. He was speaking at the 2024 Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences public lecture.
Governments need to improve their fiscal position through enhanced domestic resource mobilization to finance increased public investment in climate-related areas without increasing government borrowing, which tends to crowd out the private sector. This will require increasing tax revenue through the imposition of appropriate carbon taxes, improving fiscal position and the use of public funds can help crowd in private investment through public-private partnerships. Ensure efficient management of natural resources to support sustainable growth. Non-renewable natural resources are wasting assets with finite life. Therefore, revenue generated from their exploitation must be invested to drive inclusive growth and sustainable development. There's a need for African countries to take a look at their investment and stability agreement around these resources in ways that promote financial development and inclusive growth. And I would say that, the extractive sector is not properly integrated with the rest of the economy. These operate as silos. So we benefit from such sectors through the export revenue. And if the export revenue will not come to support the financial market, then we are not really benefiting from these resources. And these resources are wasted. They will finish at some point.
And to some other stories, Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Ursula Wusu-Ekuful, has highlighted the impact of Ghana's Digital Transformation Centers project, which she says has helped enhance digital inclusion. At least 22,000 Ghanaians, including women entrepreneurs, students, teachers, and persons with disabilities, have since 2020 received a basic and intermediate digital skills training. She's been speaking to Joy Business in the following report.
Ghana, with the support of the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation,
The International Telecommunications Union and Cisco introduced the Digital Transformation Centers project to provide underserved Ghanaians with digital skill training. It was implemented by the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, GIFEC. About 1,200 students have graduated from 30 coding clubs established in schools, and over 1,500 students, mostly girls, have been trained in Python computer programming across the country. Minister of Communication, Esla Owusu Ekufo, praised for the sustainability of the gains made from the project.
Some notable achievements have also been chalked under this project. 30 active coding clubs have been established in schools across the country. 1,500 school children, mostly girls, have been trained in Scratch and Python computer programming and robotics. 1,271 children have graduated from the coding clubs, with 300 more currently being trained. The foundation has been laid. Let's build upon it. We're confident that the project has significantly enhanced digital inclusion by broadening access to digital skills and technologies, which are crucial for participating in this digital era. We've also narrowed the gender gap significantly by empowering women and girls and enhancing their economic well-being through the provision of these digital skills.
The International Telecommunications Union is happy at the impact the program has had on Ghanaians, as it has promised to continuously work with GIFEC in the future. Susan Tercha is head of capacity skills development at ITU.
This event today doesn't mean we will not continue to collaborate in the future. The initiative continues, the support from ITU and partners will continue, and we will continue to work with GIFEC as our DTC in Ghana in the future.
Meanwhile, the acting administrator at GIFEC, Mrs. Eva Andopoku, has appealed for funding support for GIFEC's program in underserved and unserved areas.
In spite of all our achievements over the years, the inadequacy of funds remains a major challenge to our deployment. Today, I appeal to stakeholders within the global ICT community to join us in addressing this critical need. Your support will enable us to expand our reach and empower more individuals from diverse communities.
GIFEC says its quest to provide underserved communities with telephone connectivity is on course. For Joy Business Report, Parliamentary reporting.
And that's it for business. Sports is next.